An upward trend for the equities market in Nigeria. The same story again today as has been in previous sessions. What do you make of the day's trade, and just talk us through some of the gainers and losers?
Hi, thanks for having me. Summary of the exchange data actually shows you had a total of 48 gainers and 21 losers. Like you said, market closing up about above 1 percentage point to close at 27,244 points. News on the stockbrokers suspension. Yeah, a bit of wariness in the market at first, but overall I think it's a positive thing. It actually shows that the operators of the market and the regulators are actually looking into the activities of the participants, and as such they are expected to enforce and ensure some bit of professionalism in the market. So volume obviously drops as a result of that, but on the overall theme I think it's a positive trend.
Let's talk about this issue of suspending 58 stock brokerages from trading. I mean, the whole issue around capital adequacy was raised over a year ago. The whole process of reform and governance has been ongoing. Where were the failures, and why were they failures?
Well, it's very difficult or very, almost like impossible to pinpoint and say, okay, X, Y, Z were the highlights or the points at which failures existed, or at which there were breaks in the whole system on the whole. But I would look at it from the point that it's better late than never. These reforms are ongoing. They've highlighted the areas they want to consider, and we're beginning to see some action points from the various decisions or the various strategies or points to be noted in the whole market on the whole. I mean, coming from that angle, I would say yes, you might see some bit of wariness and stuff like that, but on the general theme, it shows some encouraging signs for investors, and I think that's why you've seen this surge today in the market from where it closed a bit on the red yesterday.
All right, let's talk about the Naira. We've seen it lose some ground against the dollar, but I think this week shows a little bit of better performance. But generally, in terms of a policy stance, the CBN had started to indicate from late last year that they're reluctant to come into the market with dollar sales in defense of the Naira. Where do you put the Naira going forward?
On a general thing, I think the CBN hasn't done anything outside of what the governor initially said when he assumed office. He actually stated that he was going to allow Naira to be market-driven, the price of the foreign exchange to be market-driven. I think largely that's what happened on the whole of last year. We see the forces of demand and supply actually coming into the market. On the general thing, I think the forces of demand and supply would actually drive the Naira thing. Like you said, we saw Naira strengthening into this week, into the start of the week, closing as of today. I think it's done a gain of about 50-60 kobo from where it opened on Monday. We expect that this will be a stabilizing factor. We think at 152 will provide a good support for the Naira, albeit temporarily. But on the overall theme, I think as general reserve levels begin to improve, which you've seen briefly on the brief this thing, I think on the overall theme, and I've seen some positive signs from the equity markets also coming in, I think on the overall trend, you tend to get a bit of support that's below the 152 level I had mentioned.
And very quickly, what does the trading range of the Naira mean for the attractiveness of Nigerian bonds? We know that 3 to 5 year papers have yields of about 10%, but with persistent worries about possible volatility in the Naira going forward, what do you think it's going to mean for the bond markets in general?
Oh, in general, I think on the start of it, you would see that bit of volatility coming in, definitely. But we've not seen so much of a particular trend as now. We're having the first auction coming on the bond market very soon. After the auction, we'll get a big driver. I think prices the yields might be on the softer side. I hear an international bank has given a paper or an investment advice on the 20-year paper, and on the overall theme, I think we might get some positive outlook on the bonds market.
Right.